Okay, this video is going to be mainly on the Delta Math solving exponential equations level 2 problems that you will see. So the first one we're going to look at is the calculating compound interest problems. So this problem right here is one like that. They give you the formula. So let's talk about what each of these things mean. So I'm going to write them over here. My A is my final amount. After I put my money in and I get my compounded interest, what will my final amount be? P is your principal. What do you initially put in? What amount of money do you initially put in the account? R is, like many of your other things, it's your rate. Remember, it's going to be in decimal. N, this one is a tricky one, so we're going to have some notes on this. This is the number of times per year that it is compounded. So that could be, if it says daily, how many days in a year are there? 365. If it says monthly, how many months are there in a year? 12. If it says semi-annually, that's going to be twice a year. Semi would be twice a year, 2 times a year. And then annually, oops, it would be 1 time a year. So this is all your N, different ways that you will have say what your N is. And then T is time. T-I-M, there, time. So let's identify what each of these are. So a person invests, I have a hard time reading these numbers without a comma, $10,000. So that is your principal. That's how much money they put in initially. The bank pays 5.5%. That's your rate. But remember, it's going to be 0.055 because you're going to move your decimal over 2 places. It's compounded daily. So daily, this is my N, and that's going to be 365. We could look over here. So make sure you take notes and you write this down. How long, we're looking for time, must the person leave the money in the bank until it reaches, again, I'm going to put a comma, 25,200. That's my A, my final amount. So let's plug this into the formula. A is 25,200. That is going to equal to my principal, 10,000, times 1 plus my rate is, remember, always put that in decimal, 0.055 in the number of times. It says daily, so we're going to put 365 because there are 365 days in a year. Now I have 2 exponents, 2 variables in my exponent. N is, that's again, N, we have the N again. I'm looking like, what is N? 365, and then times T. That's what we're trying to find. That is the only variable left in this equation. So we have to do some algebra to get it to where we are solving for T. And I'm going to leave all numbers as is. I'm not going to be doing any rounding so that we can have our most accurate answer. So first thing, I can divide both sides by 10,000. I'm going to get rid of this number right here. And so I can leave that here. I might want to go ahead and put this answer in there, right there. So you can use either one. You can use this calculator or your phone calculator. If I had been doing another compound interest problem before this, I probably would have left this alone and used my phone. So I'm going to just type in that whole, whatever's in parentheses, 1 plus, I need a fraction here. So on the top is 0.055 and on the bottom is 365. And my answer is over here. See, you can see that it might be easier to keep this in a decimal, but it's 1.00015. So it's basically 1, but that is what it is. So let's say, okay, here, let's keep this here. I'm gonna, in fact, I could go ahead and take off, oops, I need my pen back. I'm gonna take off 2 zeros, just so I don't have to write so much. And so I have 252 divided by 1010. So I just divided both sides by 100. And this is gonna be, I'm always scared I'm gonna lose rounding, but it probably doesn't matter. If I wanted to leave this here, I just have to write it over and over again. Okay, and this is to that 365t. I have both sides, and this side is to an exponent. I need to solve for a variable. So we're going to take the log of both sides. Log of 252, 10, 10 equals, I'm going to leave a space here, the log of 1 plus 0.055 divided by 365. So remember our power rule? Sorry, I'm just trying to, I made a mess. That if I have a log of something raised to the power, I can bring that exponent, that power, over here in front, 365t. Now this t, that's what I'm solving for. Since these are all multiplied together, I can divide both sides by 365 times log of 1 plus 0.055. Did I write that wrong? That's getting messy. Okay, so log of 1 plus, so what I do on one side, I might need 2 parentheses here, I have to do on the other side. So these are going to cancel out, and I'm going to be left with my t. T equals. So I'm just going to, like, this is going to come over here. But for sake of time and space, I'm going to just rewrite this. Log of 252, 10, 10, divide that by 365 times log of what's in this parenthesis, 1 plus. Like, you could have just gone ahead and simplified that if you want, but you're going to see when I put it in the calculator, it's going to make it so much easier. So let's get back to my mouse. So actually, I already have this written down, right? Or I can just rewrite it. So whatever you want to do. So I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna make it into a fraction. And on top, I'm gonna have, I think you can type in log, or you can choose the log function. Log, I need another fraction here, 252 on the top, and it's 10, 10. And you could have written the whole number. It doesn't matter. On the bottom, I have that 365, my n, and I'm going to multiply that by, you could put multiply or you could put parentheses. I tend to put parentheses more. Log of, and inside the parentheses is going to be this amount. So 1 plus fraction 0.055 divided by 365. So it looks like a lot, but you can see how this, you can check all of your numbers right here. If you wanted to go ahead and put your original numbers, like I said, you could do that. 252, 10, 10. This is my n, 365, and the log of 1 plus my rate over my n. And this is my answer right here. It is a negative number. So I have done something wrong. If you get a negative number, that's wrong. So what do we do? Let's look at this. 252, that shouldn't matter if we add our zeros back. You know what I did? I think I might have messed that up. So that number is wrong. It should be 10,000. Always check your numbers. 252, 25,200 over 10,365. Oh, look, that number looks better. So this is a really cool calculator. If you do make a mistake, if you get a negative number and you're like, time is not negative, you can go back and look and see how you might have entered something wrong. So let's try this answer. So it says to the nearest 10th of a year. So this is 16.80. So that is going to be 16.8. Submit the answer. Yes. Okay. So see, that was a good way to check. You get a negative number, you're like, that's not right. Go back and make sure all of your numbers are right. I somehow got that looked like a 1 to me, and because I don't write very clearly. And so this should have been a 0. So if we wanted to, I'm going to go back, and hopefully y'all are still watching this so you can see where I've corrected my mistake. And here, there. And so there you go. That's how you work a compound interest problem. There's one more I need you to figure out how to do. So make sure you write this down. Pause this video if you need to. Make sure, especially the ends, that you have that down. You know what to do. So let's clear these drawings, and we're going to do a different type of problem. That's the same type. Okay, this is what we need. We need a calculating exponential decay problem. They give you the formula right here. So let me get my pen back. So element X decays radioactively with a half-life of 13 minutes. So this is my half-life, H. There are 830 grams of element X. So that's what we're starting with. That's my A. So I'm going to define all this in a minute. So how long, that sounds like it's going to be time, right? To the nearest 10th. Remember to come back and make sure to know how to round your answer. Would it take the element to decay to 20 grams? So this is going to be my Y, my final amount. So let's define what these are. Y is your final amount. A is your initial amount. Initial amount, that's what that means. T is time, and that's what we're going to be calculating. And then H is your half-life. So let's plug all this in. I have my Y. My Y is 20 equals my A is 830 times 0.5. So I'm going to have a fraction of my exponent. T is what we are trying to solve for. And my H is 13. So just like with the compound interest, we are going to solve it algebraically and probably take logs and solve for T. So the first thing I'm going to do, this needs to stay together for right now. So I'm going to divide both sides by 830. So now I have 20 divided by 830 equals 0.5 of T over 13. If I take the log, just like the others, if I take the log of both sides, and then I take my exponent and I put it over here in front. So that would be T divided by 13. I can see that I can divide both sides by the log. So these cancel. That had already canceled. So let's rewrite this. I've got log. Again, I'm going to keep all this together and I'm going to put it into my calculator. 20 over 830 divided by log of 0.5. It's going to equal to T divided by 13. I need to solve for T. I need to get rid of the 13. T divided by 13, the opposite operation is multiply. So that's going to go up here. I'm multiplying that. And so that will solve for T. So what does T equal? I'm going to put this whole thing into my calculator. So mouse. I could use this. It's kind of set up right, or you could start scratch if you want to, but I have a log on top and a log on bottom. I'm going to put the 13 in front of my log, and I'm going to change this number. So it is just going to be 20. And the denominator of this one is going to be 830. Oh, man, I went one too many. So let's get that fraction still there, back there. So 13 times log of 20 divided by 830. I think those numbers are correct. And then in the bottom, I'm not multiplying this by anything. Oops, I still want to divide that. Just get rid of that part. And we want to go down here and we want to put the log of, and I have a, nope, I don't have a fraction. It's just 0.5. So let's go back and check. Log 13 times log of 20 over 830 divided by log of 0.5. Does my answer seem reasonable? It's not a negative number, so that's a good thing. It's really small and light, so it's hard to read. 69.8755. It says to round to the nearest tenth of a minute. So this was minutes, okay. So I need it right here. That 7 is going to change that 8 to a 9. So let's type in 69.9, and that should be the correct answer. Yeah. Okay. So I think this is all the different types of problems that you're going to see in this section. So hopefully you took notes and you will know what to do. Use this calculator and don't spend way too much time. If you're struggling, then you need to reach out for help. Go to tutoring or ask her in synchronous. Good luck. You can do it.